Thank you. Taoiseach, we often speak about the homeless here in the Dáil and the horror of young people getting eviction notices, which is a horrendous worry on anyone's mind. Taoiseach, now just think for 1 minute, being aged 70, 80 or 90 plus and be in a nursing home and get an eviction notice. This has happened in August to 48 residents of a 68-bed nursing home in Belgooly in West Cork, ran by a group called APRI Living. Many patients in this nursing home were notified before the families were to be out within 6 months, which would be February 2024. But in the last week, families are now being told that HICU are escalating the closure and intend to evict residents by October the 24th. I have been helping families over the past few weeks to try and find an alternative nursing home, but for the remaining 30 patients, this immediate eviction order is a step too far. On Tuesday, August the 8th, I appealed to the Minister for Responsibility for Nursing Homes, Mary Butler, to attend the public meeting, but she was unable to attend. On Saturday, 12th of August, I invited Minister Butler, Minister Michael McGrath, Minister Coveney, beside you there, and Minister Micheál Martin to a public protest, as many of their constituents are residents in this home, but they didn't turn up. I again wrote to Minister Butler expressing the urgency of the matter, requesting her to meet with the families and me as a local representative. And 3 or 4 weeks later, I get back a detailed reply on the 14th of September stating her support for HICU's report, basically showing many areas of non-compliance. In the final line of Minister Butler's letter to me, she states she understands how distressed the residents, their families and staff are, but her priority remains the health and well-being of the residents. Taoiseach, where is the health and well-being of a patient being considered here, as the Minister refused to meet with anyone to discuss solutions that could have been brought forward? Where is the health and well-being of the patients in the Department of Health who have no backup plan in cases like this of an emergency nursing home closure? Words of pity do not work here. Taoiseach, how can a state lie idly by and have elderly residents basically thrown out of a nursing home where some have resided in for years and where some married couples are residing at this present time? Surely the state has responsibilities in these areas and must step in and take over the running of the nursing home when they close, whether this is because of financial difficulties or HICU issues. We can't just lie idly by and leave families and residents heartbroken as their loved ones face eviction on October the 24th. And it is eviction, and that's what it is. Talk about turning our backs on the most vulnerable in our society. Taoiseach, you must act also by launching an investigation on APRI Living's running of this and other nursing homes to ensure patients' care come first. I wore myself trying to communicate with APRI Living, re the Belgooly closure, to be met with the iron door, refusing to meet, which to me is a statement in itself. Taoiseach, the residents, families and staff in APRI Living nursing home in Belgooly are on tenterhooks 8 weeks later. You contact APRI, they say they can't talk to the HSE. You ring the HSE, they say talk to HICU. You ring HICU and they don't want to discuss the matter, and the department will kick the can every direction. All this while the clock's ticking and 30 residents are facing eviction in a few weeks and have nowhere to go. Taoiseach, are you aware of this crisis in Belgooly nursing home? And if so, what is your solution for the residents? Will the HSE step in? This one-time 68-bed nursing home, which was ran brilliantly until APRI Living came on board, is now facing closure within days. We need answers.
Thank you, Deputy. Taoiseach.
I just want to thank Deputy Collins for raising the very concerning issue of APRI Living in Belgooly in County Cork, and I am aware of the issue. HICU have engaged in a series of inspections to APRI nursing homes. 6 of these are detailed in the publication of Thursday, 7 September. Across these facilities, the Chief Inspector is concerned about the registered providers' ability to sustain a safe and quality service. There has been ongoing regulatory engagement between HICU and APRI, including provider meetings and cautionary and warning meetings in relation to governance, management and fire safety. Further inspections have been completed over the summer period and further engagement with the group has taken place. Many of these are unannounced inspections, which are an important part of any effective inspection process. Inspections have uncovered financial irregularities in relation to residents' incomes within 6 of the nursing homes, and the Chief Inspector will use all powers available to her office to perform the necessary functions to investigate this under the Regulations and Health Act of 2007. And the Minister of Health and Minister Butler are providing the necessary resources to do this. The inspectors who visited Belgooly in particular were concerned about governance and management of the centre, especially when it came to residents' finances, the areas of continued non-compliance, particularly when it comes to fire safety management, which had not been addressed by the provider. For this reason, a restrictive condition was attached to the registration of the centre back in March to stop any new admissions until fire safety works were completed. This condition was put in place to protect the current and any future residents. At the time of the most recent inspection, no substantial fire safety works had commenced. The report also found that other non-compliances from previous inspections were also reviewed. Further action is necessary on infection control, staffing, care planning, healthcare nutrition and residents' rights. Because of this, the Chief Inspector has cancelled APRI Living Balgooley's registration under Section 51 of the Health Act 2007 due to persistent non-compliance with the regulations, and therefore the home will close on the 24th of October. Ensuring the welfare and safety of residents when a nursing home closes is essential, and the HSE have been informed and are working closely with the provider, residents and their families to insist the residents to move to alternative nursing home accommodation. In May 2023, the centre had 54 residents in situ. That is now down to 22 who are still present, and work is being done to find alternative accommodation for them before the nursing home closes on October 24th.
Thank you, Taoiseach. Deputy Collins.
Thank you. Reply. But I'm astonished to think that you says you knew about this, and obviously you other ministers must know about this, but you have no solution. The nursing home is closing. There's 22 residents in that nursing home, you said, and they have no home to go to, and you have no backup plan other than someone will talk to someone. As far as I am aware, Taoiseach, you are meant to give a 6-month notice to patients. That's the very least. That's not even going to work here. They're being booted out after 2 months. And you're just going to stand idly by and allow that happen instead of some kind of a system needs to be set in place. Surely be to God this has happened somewhere else in the country. And are you just abandoning people because they're old people that can't speak for themselves? They can't stand up and say this is wrong? I think you have standards, and we have to respect that standards are being met. But if they have to be met in community hospitals, funding is given by government to do that. But when it's met in a nursing home, private operators can't afford some of these standards. But still, I think you have no standards when there's overcrowding in the CUH and overcrowding in Limerick Hospital and many more places. There's no worry about standards there. But there's standards here. But I don't mind we standing by standards, but these people need to have an answer here today. They cannot be waiting for 3 weeks' time to be wheeled out in a wheelchair, taken home or taken to a house maybe where there's nobody left there.
Right,
you have turned your back on the people of Balgooley and its surrounds. Taoiseach, fine, give me an answer if you haven't.
Thanks, Deputy. Look, I understand that a lot of people, whether it's the remaining 22 residents or their family members, are very concerned about the situation. I certainly would be if it was my mother or grandmother. This nursing home has to be closed. HICWA doesn't cancel a registration lightly, I absolutely guarantee you that. And the fact they've given such short notice should indicate to you how serious this situation is. We're down to 22 residents. Residents and their families have to be consulted and given appropriate notice so that new homes can be found within the fair deal. However, pending alternative arrangements, the HSE, either with the consent of the registered provider or if needs be by order of the District Court, shall take charge of the designated centre and ensure safe and appropriate care for the residents. So what's being done at the moment is trying to find appropriate alternative accommodation for the 22 remaining residents. But the power exists for HICWA to take over the running of the centre if that's necessary, and that is an option.